Ryan Stewart, Two Live Students Experience, blown away and honored to be sitting here with a frat brother of mine that everyone knows. He's dearly loved. He's doing a lot for the community, a lot for the culture. Happy to have Ben Crump on with the students right now.
Hey, how you doing, brother Crump? I'm good, man. Hey, I'm a big fan of Two Live Students,
thank you, sir. But listen, you're a big fan of everyone in the country, bro, okay? Or damn near the world, Q. So we really appreciate you. We're not going to keep you too long.
Okay.
We did mention that we are frat brothers. Bro, talk about when you pledged in 88 at Chi Theta, how different things are from 88 to how they are now in the frat. You're the past immediate grand counsel for Omega Psi Phi.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the differences from back in the day when the bros were there on the yard with you versus now the younger bros on the yards.
You know, I say this humorously, Ryan. And I don't know if the statute of limitations has ran, so we can't really get into it like that.
You can't go too far back.
But I would say this, save my parents and my family, the greatest influence on my life was Omega Psi Phi. And the thing that I pray still exists is that Omega Psi Phi is helping transform boys into men, you know, thoroughly immersed in the true Omega spirit that believe in manhood scholarship, perseverance, and uplift, and remember to lift as we climb. And so I have nephews who I raised as my sons, and they pledged the frat about 7, 8 years ago, and I saw how Omega influenced their life. So I'm proud to say Omega Psi Phi is still doing what we were created for. That's right. And that is to help transform young black boys into men.
Exactly. Well, a lot of people really don't even realize that you're a civil attorney. Some people may think you're a defense attorney. Some people may think you're a prosecutor. Can you talk about the differences with what you do and what people perceive that you do?
Certainly. And I give a lot of credit to Kenya Barris, who created Blackish, and Nadia Holmgren, who directed Michelle Obama's Becoming, also directed the Netflix documentary that followed me a year after George Floyd was killed called Civil. And we talked about how crucial people need to understand the civil system, because many times the criminal system fails us as black people.
Agreed.
And we must remember the biggest difference between criminal prosecution and civil law is the only people who can arrest you and charge you and have you convicted of a crime and take away your liberty and your freedom is the prosecutor, is the district attorney, the state attorney. And even though I'm called Black America's Attorney General, that's just a title from the people. The only people who can put you in jail is the elected government officials. And when they fail to do their job, then what we do is we sue these killer cops who killed George Floyd, killed breonnataylor, killed Tyree Nichols, and the list goes on. And what we do is hold them accountable.
There's way too many names, bro. Man, it's way too many names, bro.
That having tip the iceberg. But it's the 7th Amendment, Ryan, that allows a private citizen to get some measure of justice when the government fails us. And we got to remember, the government has failed black people when it comes to prosecuting people who kill us for decades. This is nothing new. And so, like Thurgood Marshall, who's my personal hero, you understand what your calling is like. Your calling is in this life. You understand what your mission is in this life. And you go and be faithful to that calling that God put on your life. And you have to try to educate people as much as you can. But like Harriet Tubman said, Ryan, you can't save Negroes who don't want to be saved.
That's the truth.
If you ever hear me talking about a black person, it's always going to be something positive, motivating, encouraging, because we got enough of the white supremacist society going to do that. Why we going to go help?
Do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer that the tongue speaks life or death. So we need to speak life into things. We need to speak life into each other.
Yeah.
Was Trayvon the first biggest civil case that you were the lead attorney on?
No, actually it was Martin Lee Anderson, which was years before Trayvon, where a 14-year-old little black boy got kicked and punched and suffocated in a Panama City juvenile boot camp ran by the sheriff's department. But it was before the internet and social media, so it was like a training ground for me for Trayvon. People sometimes think that things just happen. None of these cases just happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for every Trayvon, for every Breonna Taylor, every George Floyd, there is literally 1,000 that's way worse, that gets no attention. And so you have to craft it and be able to manipulate the media to make them care about black lives.
That's right.
They don't care anything about a black person being killed. And so Martin Lee Anderson prepared me for Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin prepared me for George Floyd.
Bro, when you decided to go into law, did you envision all of this, bro?
No, I didn't envision.
I mean, to be considered the people's lawyer, when things happen negative in the black community, bro, you're the first name that comes to mind. They're seeking Ben Crump, bro. Did you see this down the road, bro, back in the day?
No, I didn't, to be honest, Ryan. But what I did see, I endeavored to be like my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall. And I endeavored to try to help people who come from our community and people who look like us have an equal opportunity at achieving the American dream. So every time I wake up in the morning, I got the same mission in life, and that is to fight for black people to be an unapologetic defender of black life, black liberty, and black humanity. And I'm never confused about that mission. And so the fact that God has blessed me more, you know, bruh, I grew up in Lumberton, North Carolina. My mother raised me and my two little brothers living in the government housing projects, working 2 jobs just to try to put a roof over our head, food on our table, and hope in our hearts. And so the fact that, you know, I have 15,000 people calling our call centers every week in America about all the injustices, and then having 30 lawyers around the country who work directly for me, and another 250 who work as co-counsels and associated with our firm. It is something that only God could have ordained.
Right.
And I give him all the glory.
Right. Wrapping things up right now, 2 Last Dudes experience, spending some time with Attorney Ben Crump. What needs to happen in our justice system for there to be no more George Floyds, no more Trayvon Martins? What needs to happen, bro?
Well, the biggest thing is we have to make it where police officers are either, one, held accountable when they violate the constitutional rights and brutalize people of color, especially black people, or they are incentivized somehow not to do it. Whether that means you lose your pension. It always, in America, it's a capitalistic society. That's why I always say, if America understands anything, they understand money. And so, you know, we got the highest amount ever paid out with Breonna Taylor for a black woman, and then we got 27 million with George Floyd, and then after that, we got 45 million with Randy Cox up in New Haven, California, and now with Tyree Nichols, I'm suing for $500 million because I want to keep raising the value of black life in America to the point, Ryan, where it becomes financially unsustainable for them to kill us unjustified.
Right. But we thank you for all the work you're doing. Before we let you go, you do a lot of heavy cases. You're traveling all around the world. It's not day by day, but it's weeks at a time. What do you do to relax? What do you do to chill out? When you call yourself having fun, what is Ben Crump doing for that?
Well, to be honest, as I travel around the country now, I'm always greeted by the black lawyers and the brothers, Omega Psi Phi. And a lot of times that what relaxed me is fellowshipping with my fraternity brothers, fellowshipping with my fellow lawyers, and, you know, doing things to try to say, we're going to win this war. I have no doubt in my heart at all that the enemies of equality will not win this war. And so now I'm starting to do a lot of Hollywood stuff, and we're trying to put positive content, because what we do know is a picture is worth 1,000 words, then videos are worth billions. And so we can put those subconscious thoughts in people's minds about fairness and equality and equity and
Yes, sir.
freedom,
Yes, sir.
then we can do it. And that's relaxing to me. My wife and everybody say, hey, you just a workaholic. You never gonna take time off. But I do take time in fighting for the struggle. Frederick Douglass said, without struggle, there can be no progress. And so he said, as long as we struggling, we progressing. So he said, we can't get discouraged by the struggle. We got to celebrate the struggle, because that means I'm going to give my little girl a better world.
That's right.
You're going to give your child a better world, as long as we fighting for them.
Right.
And that gives me peace of mind.
We appreciate you fighting for us, bro. Ben Crump, hanging out with the Two Live Students and the Two Live Students Experience. Bro, much love, and anything we can ever do for you, please don't hesitate to let us know, bro.
All my love, dog. I love the Two Live Stews going back a decade ago.
We appreciate you, bro.
All right, dog.